Howdy, I'm Colin Drumm, and I'm here just to give you a little preview of the seminar that I'm going to be teaching through the New Center for Research and Practice beginning on April 4th. This seminar is going to be a kind of critical examination of what's called modern monetary theory, or a discourse about money which has been kind of rising in prominence since 2008, and which more recently has made headlines as Representative Rashida Tlaib has suggested that the U.S. Congress should mint two $1 trillion platinum coins and deposit them at the Federal Reserve in order to essentially print money to combat the crisis. So in this seminar, we're going to be examining the theory that lies behind this idea of minting the coin, modern monetary theory, which really kind of revolves around one observation and one concept. The observation is the observation that what we use for money in the modern system really is just the debt of states. That what you have when you have $20 is you have a promise from the United States government to pay you $20. And what this means is that when the U.S. pays off its debt, all it's really doing is swapping one form of its liability for another form. This is kind of curious, and the concept that MMT develops out of this observation is what they call monetary sovereignty, or the claim that any state which borrows in units of account that it itself defines and creates can never really run out of money, that the lack of money is always a self-imposed political constraint, and that these states don't really face any technical limitations on their ability to spend. And so MMT advocates fiscal expansion on these grounds. So we're going to be kind of talking about some of the claims of this theory, but we're also going to be trying to take this notion of sovereignty that is developed in MMT, which is really kind of a thin notion of sovereignty. It's almost tautological. And we're going to try to connect it to a kind of longer and older discourse in Western political philosophy about the idea of sovereignty, to try to develop a more thick conception of sovereignty, which involves more political antagonism than is really there in the standard MMT theory. And the way that we're going to do this is that we're going to kind of turn our historical gaze to the late 16th and early 17th centuries in England, where much of the foundation of the modern monetary order was laid. And the reason for this is that when James I succeeded Elizabeth Tudor as the King of England, he became the first European monarch to run perpetual peacetime deficits. In other words, James's government was always spending more money than it took in every year of his reign, which is a defining feature of the modern state, but which was largely absent from medieval monarchs. And so we're going to kind of look at the social and political struggles that surrounded this transition, and we're going to be reading William Shakespeare as a theorist of sovereignty, and as we'll see, a theorist of money. We're going to be reading his second Tetralogy, the series of 4 plays beginning with Richard II and ending with Henry V. And we're going to be seeing if we can learn something about the political problems that surround sovereignty and the transition to a debt-based monetary system in the early modern period. So that's a little teaser for you. I hope that you find that interesting, and I'll see you on April 4th. Cheers.